My dear friends, He has created you, isn't it? He has given you everything and He knows you in and out. And He loves you from His whole of His heart. And why you reluctant to give Him all? Because you have doubts, isn't it? You have fears. You don't know Him as the third person who got one talent, buried and hid the talent in the ground because he was scared. But then, if you know Him truly, without knowing Him, you can't love Him. You will love Him. If you know Him, you will love Him. If you love Him, you just surrender everything to Him. And it's a beautiful experience. We find in the first reading how Daniel and other three young people in their youth gave their whole life to the Lord. And the big book, the paragraph starts beautifully. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with some of the vessels of the house of God. And he brought them to the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. So Lord surrendered, Lord gave. So everything happened in your life. You have to know that He's in control. So however much you fight for it, if the Lord does not fight for you, in vain the laborers labor, isn't it? And if you might be, as Gamaliel said to the Sanhedrin, you might be fighting against God. So it's important that you surrender your life to the Lord. So after this, there was this, the king had a eunuch, Ashaphanes. Ashaphanes is a chief eunuch, and he was asked to bring people of Israel, both of the royal family, of the nobility, both of the youths without blemish, of good appearance and skillful in all wisdom, endowed with knowledge, understanding, learning, and competent to stand in the king's palace, and to teach them the literature and the language of Chaldeans. So this was the condition. And these 4 young people were chosen. And they are Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And they were the 4 young men, and they were chosen. But dear friends, so king wanted them to be equipped with everything, and the appearance was important. And they were given. Therefore, he asked the chief of the eunuchs to allow him not to defile. So they were given king's food. The king assigned them a daily portion of the food that the king ate and of the wine that he drank. They were to be educated for 3 years, and at the end of that time they were to stand before the king. So it's a 3-year time passage where they were educated and king's food was given. But then for Israelites it's different, my friends. For Israelites, it's that food is not pure because they were pagans. What is used by pagans you cannot eat. That was the law at that time. Of course, that thing changed with Jesus. But then that was the commandment, that was the law. So they wanted to be faithful to the law, because they wanted to give their whole life to the Lord, Yahweh God. So however, God blessed them. Therefore, he asked the chief of the eunuchs to allow him not to be defiled himself. And God gave Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the chief of the eunuchs. And the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who assigned your food and your drink, for why should he see that you were in worse condition than the youths who are of your own age? So they didn't want to eat king's food. So if they are in appearance, if they are pale and weak, the eunuch would be punished. So it was a challenge. But then Daniel and other 3 young men, they were firm in their decision that they are not going to eat king's food, meat or anything, but only vegetables. And my dear friends, when you give your everything to the Lord will take care of you. At the end, long story short, at the end they found they are more handsome, more healthy, and God taught them, God gave them learning and skill in all literature and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. How God blessed them when they gave their life to the Lord. My dear friends, what holds you back is your fear. You find the widow in the gospel today. Widow is a person who is completely helpless in that society. They were cornered, they were cursed, and they don't have any say or power. So this widow had 2 pennies, all for her living. But then she came and put everything to that till. My dear friends, what a insight, what a inner disposition, that she trusted the Lord so much. Because from the day she lost her husband, she knew the agony, and she experienced how Lord intervened and Lord looked after her. And she had trust in the Lord. So Lord was her husband more than her husband. Lord was her strength more than anything. And God, she knew that she is looked after by Him. And that's exactly why she gave everything to the Lord. She didn't want to look after herself. She just wanted the presence, the company, that love of the Lord. That's exactly the nature of a good wife. She's never worried if she has a very good husband who looks after her very well. And she is free. She's just free because husband is the strength of that woman. So here comes this particular widow. Her husband, her lover, is Yahweh God, no one else. That's why she gave everything. For others, they gave from their extra. Of course, you take the amount, it's big. But then they gave from their extra. They were looked after by their salary, by their wealth, not by God. As if they think God wanted even God in need of some wealth. No. God does not want your extra. He accepted Abel with the offering. He wants you. He wants you completely. Just trust Him like anything. Just hold on to Him. He will look after you. Don't be scared. You do whatever you can do to be with Him, and He will do the rest. So it's a beautiful encounter, beautiful relationship the Lord is speaking to us today through this widow who gave everything. Amen. May God bless you.